Maybe miraculously, I guess shockingly, at least to me, we've made it a couple days into this ceasefire, and thus far it hasn't been, I was gonna say it hasn't been violated. Obviously, Israel has continued to bomb the region, but it hasn't been violated to the extent that it's been scrapped. It's still going on, and that is good. The living hostages, the Israeli hostages, are expected to be returned to Israel by midday on Monday, and Israel has now published a list of the names of 250 Palestinian prisoners it will release after the hostages are returned. Hamas is currently pushing for more to be released. There had previously been references to nearly 2,000. I don't know what's happened to that. Perhaps they'll still do that. But while that's going on, in theory, the Palestinian people who have been very strategically herded into the extreme south of Gaza now theoretically can return to some portions of Gaza that have been denied to them. And I think we actually have a little video in regards to that.
A journey very few could have imagined even days ago. Now thousands of Palestinians start on the road home to Gaza City. There may be very little when they get there, but this is the beginning of what they hope will be an end to the destruction and devastation of the last 2 years. Just hours before the ceasefire began, clouds of smoke filled the air early this morning. Both Israelis and Palestinians alike rejoiced when the deal was announced. But in Gaza much earlier today, some of the 2 million people displaced have to now see it to believe it.
We hope that this suffering will end and that all the people of the earth will live in safety and peace. Everyone who has lived around us, near us and far from us, and that no people will go through what we have gone through.
Whew, that breaks my heart seeing the little girl crawl around. Looks very similar to my daughter right now, hearing him hope that everything is gonna work now and there will be peace. And I hope for him that there will be. I sort of doubt it. In the meantime though, while they can return to some portion of Gaza, again, the majority, the slight majority is still, even under the terms of this, going to be controlled by Israel, at least for now. What are they returning to? I made reference to this late last week. Most of Gaza has been bombed into nothing. And you're seeing right there sort of satellite mapping of the nearly 200,000 buildings in the Gaza Strip that have been damaged since the start of the war. 74% of buildings have likely been damaged since October 7th. So that's obviously homes, stores, the places one might work, hospitals, schools, a lot of that intentionally. And so what are you returning to? And like hopefully now some of the aid will come in, there will be food, which will be good since hundreds and hundreds of people have been intentionally starved. That's an improvement, but like long term, what's the answer? I haven't heard in any of this commitments to rebuild infrastructure or homes by Israel after destroying them. Now my plan, maybe this is radical, I certainly haven't heard anybody talk about this. I think every single cent that we formerly would be providing to Israel for more bombs should instead be routed to Gaza for infrastructure, homes, medicine, food, rebuilding the hospitals, the schools, all that. All that money should be diverted from now until God knows when. And as uncomfortable as I am about US troops being in the region, and I fear that were they to step foot in Gaza, something would happen that would escalate it all. I also think that there's a case to be made that their presence in there might be one of the only things long term that will stop Israel from bombing that area, knowing that in theory, were they to kill US troops, that would probably be a problem for them. Now, in the past, they've killed American civilians, outside of settlements and things like that, and they haven't gotten much trouble for that, activists, media. So maybe it's sort of a fool's dream that even the soldiers being killed would be enough. But in any event, as of right now, people are returning, but I don't know to what. I suppose a tent city set up in a different part of Gaza.
Okay, so they've killed 9 Americans since 2022. Both the Biden administration and the Trump administration have said nothing. Like, oh, we regret it, we'll look into it. They haven't looked into it, no one cares. Israel can even murder Americans like the Israeli settlers do, the IDF does. They shot a Palestinian American journalist in the neck, and there was no consequence at all. She was the most famous journalist in Palestine. She was an American citizen. They murdered her with a sniper shot from hundreds of yards away, and America was like, oh, how much money would you like? Okay, And so no accountability at all. I mean, they attacked the USS Liberty. They attacked one of our ships. Now, that was a long time ago. But what's weird about that is like, if you say that, people in mainstream media go, that's anti-Semitic. But wait, did they? Yeah, they're like, yeah, of course they did. So history is, and facts and truth are anti-Semitic. I don't think you realize what you're saying. Like, that's a terrible thing to say about actually Jewish Americans, right? That's not about them, it's about Israel. The Jewish Americans didn't attack America. Israel attacked America. But that's just an example of all the things they've gotten away with. So if you're new to this, or you used to watch cable news, which is otherwise known as Israeli propaganda, like you might be like, oh my God, are you allowed to say this about Israel? Yeah. It's like, oh my God, are you saying that Israel could actually harm Americans to get something they want? Bruv, okay. I mean, like, this is now, and they hate this, that now the internet knows all of this, right? And they're like, shh, anti-Semitism, Trump. Like, no, I don't care. As long as the troops are fine and Trump is fine and everybody's fine and you actually do the peace deal, great, wonderful. My God, you do 2 independent states, 1967 borders, oh, great, wonderful. Then we love Israel. We'd love to have Israel among the great nations on earth, etc. But if you're going to be a pariah terrorist state, yeah, we're going to question you. If you just committed a genocide right in front of our eyes, yeah, we're going to question you. And if you don't like that, you can kiss my ass. I don't care what you like or don't like. They're like, oh, my feelings. I'm so pro-Israel. My feelings, right? Israel murdered 20,000 kids. I don't give a goddamn about your feelings. So, okay, to that point, and what John was saying, you know how many buildings in Gaza have been destroyed or damaged? 198,883. 74% of the buildings. They leveled the place. The Israeli minister on social equality, what an Orwellian title, gave a fire-breathing speech about how she was so happy about the ruins of Palestine, of Gaza, and how they destroyed all the Palestinians. And she said, I want their children and their grandchildren to know the Jews did this. And I was like, no, don't say that, don't say that. You lunatics don't say that, right? So, okay. Jesus, man. Like, we're trying to keep both things at bay here, right? Like, Israel's being monstrous and we're trying to stop them from a genocide. And we're trying to also make sure anti-Semitism doesn't rise in a real and significant way. While Israel's like, come on, be anti-Semites, be anti-Semites. Like, just stop. So we speak for all Jews. If you don't love genocide, you hate Jews. No, stop saying that. All right, anyway, so back to the peace deal. Look, first, on behalf of the whole world, Palestinians, we are so sorry that we did not do enough. The entire world, and certainly our governments, our cowardly governments that constantly, for so long, for all of these decades and these 2 horrific years, serve Israel instead of their own voters and their own constituents, let alone standing up for humanity and decency as they pretended they were in favor of. At the very end of the genocide, which by the way, we're not done with yet, they're like, okay, maybe the Palestinians are slightly human and we should slightly care, right? So no, the world abandoned you, and every government official in the West owes you a deep apology. You're the strongest and bravest of us. Thank you for withstanding this. I don't know who could have withstood this like the brave and strong Palestinians did. You were heroic and we love you for it. Now, I wish this was the real end and we were giving this speech at the end, but the reality is Israel never stops. Their arrogance and hubris of this particular government is unmatched, unparalleled in my lifetime. So everybody's celebrating like, oh, it's over. Israel's gonna go back home. Go back home where? At the end of this, they have 53% of Gaza. And they say, oh no, don't worry, we'll withdraw to a security perimeter. They're not gonna withdraw to any security perimeter, besides which the security perimeter is 15% of Gaza. So they're gonna stay. Once they stay, there's gonna be some sort of trouble, or they're gonna pretend Hamas didn't turn themselves in enough. And that's it, they're gonna go, well, bombing or not bombing, they're not leaving. They came to take land from Palestinians. They came to take a portion of Gaza and make it part of greater Israel. That is not conspiratorial. They have said it many times. And not just Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, tons of their ministers And also Netanyahu himself said it is his historic and spiritual mission to set up greater Israel, which includes Judea and Samaria, that's the West Bank and Gaza Strip. They came to steal the land, now they're taking 53% and going, that's ours, right? And we'd be lucky if they stayed at 53% and then continue to brutalize the Palestinians. So unfortunately, it's not over yet. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.